Okay, if you did not catch the first video I did just right before I left the office, go back and check that out. So I'm pondering this, and I feel like there's a couple of more things that need to be said, and maybe a story or two that I need to share to give, an example of instruction, how to avoid disaster in your loving of your family, of your friends, of your husband, and your whatever your relationships are. So you guys did not catch the first half of this. Hey Vicky, go back and listen to it. But so what I was talking about was the 4 different kinds of loves that, in America we have love. We love our pet, we love our sandwiches, we love, our new chair. So I just want to talk for a minute about how love a little bit further, because I know I talked about romantic love before, but kind of going a little bit further, how love can go bad and how it can keep you out of the love of God. This is something that goes bad a lot. Like, let's say you have the love for a child. I'm gonna move here. It's kind of noisy on my front porch. Going to my back porch. Let's say you have love for your child, which is Storge. And your child is, let's say they are 18 years old and they are doing drugs and they are living in your house and they are not following your rules. Now, Storge, or Storge, I'm not exactly sure how it's pronounced. Probably could be pronounced either way. If you don't willing to trust in the Lord with all your heart and not lean on your own understanding, that is willing to, the love of God is always telling us to do what is best for us. And I've said this before, what is best for you is absolutely what is best for the other person. And so you've given your child chance after chance after chance. They don't want to go to rehab. They don't want to follow the house rules. What do you do at that point? You draw boundaries and you say, I love you. You are my child. I will always love you. But I also have the love of God flowing through me for you. And the love of God is not going to allow me to have you continue staying here, not following my rules. And parents towards their children, this goes bad a lot. And parents or grandparents towards their children will enable their kids to do just whatever that they want that's not good for them, because they think, I am a mother and I have this mother love. And here's the thing. When you have the agape love of God for somebody, you are willing to hurt. You are willing to hurt. This is why Jesus talks a lot about laying your life down. Why he, on the cross, he says you got to pick up your cross daily and follow him. What is he even talking about? It means if you love with his kind of love, you are going to experience pain at times, choosing God over these other human loves. It's the part of not leaning on your own understanding, and your own understanding. You would never let your child sleep on the street. You would never let your kid, you would bail them out of jail. You wouldn't want them to have to spend the night in jail. But the love of God might say, shh, let them stay there. You've told them they got arrested. Let me deal with them. Let me love them with a love that you can't comprehend, where I'm working through this situation. And so I just wanted to add that because, I talked about the Eros and how it can go bad, but parental love can go bad too, y'all. Parental love goes bad. Parental love goes bad. There are mothers who are afraid to let go of their kids, and so they do not train them to be self-sufficient. They do not age appropriately release them to make mistakes and live with the consequences. And they produce dysfunctional children. And that is not the love of God. And I just want to shake some people sometimes when I'm talking to them in a nice way. I know you think you're helping them, but you are not helping them, because you've got to trust. Remember I said the love of God doesn't come from us. So that means that it's existing outside of us and it doesn't need us to exist. And God's love is perfect and he is flowing towards everybody at all times. It's just a matter of people learning how to receive it for themselves. So we play God when we won't let somebody else hurt, or when we aren't willing to hurt. Like, people, like with the dog, I could have just been like, and sometimes it wouldn't have been what was best for the dog either. God provided a better place. I just feel like there's a few more things I needed to mention, because, God, when you do have to let go, or you do have to practice tough love, or the love of God compels you to create distance, or not respond, or respond a way that they don't perceive as love. Your kids are not going to perceive your love when you are taking their phone because they keep doing stuff they're not supposed to. They're not going to be like, long term, let me think about this. My mom loves me. She doesn't want me to be, looking at this stuff, and she's thinking about all they're knowing is, you're hurting me. I want my phone. You're a bad person and you don't love me. You're making me feel pain. I'm sorry. Feel the pain. I wish that you guys could have seen in my household when my son was being raised and I was practicing this stuff. I was single. Sure, I would have loved to have a ooey gooey lovey, a back and forth Philia and Storge love going back and forth between me and my son, but I didn't get a lot of that. I did not get a lot of that from him. We had a lot of feelings going that were contrary to that, because I chose the love of God time and time and time again over, even peace in our house. The kind of peace where Jesus said, don't think that I just came to bring peace. It sounds like he's contradicting himself when he says this, but Jesus said, don't think I came to bring peace. I came to bring a sword, where basically I'm going to turn father against son and mother against daughter. And that's what it's saying. As you follow the Lord, it's going to turn some people against you, even in your own household. And you have to say, the aunt or whatever is going to be like, let's say you come from a family where everybody drinks and the Lord has pressed on your heart not to drink anymore, and you go to the family gathering or something, everybody's drinking, and they might reject you, they might look down on you, they might say you think you're better than us or whatever, and they might not even want to hang out with you anymore. Chances are you might not want to hang out with them so much either. You got to go on with the Lord. You got to keep going on with the Lord. And the important thing to understand, and this is why it's something that comes from God directly to you, and it's just impossible to do if you don't know how to receive the love of God for yourself, because you can't comprehend, because you're not receiving the love of God for yourself. You haven't grown to understand that it is there. It is available at all times to every person. You wrongly assume, if you withdraw the human love in a way that they can comprehend, that they're going to be without love. But since God is trying to get us all to himself, he says, let them be without that human love. Let them be without that human love for a minute so that they can get to me. I'm trying to get them to me, and don't stand in my way. And so you just have to lay it down sometimes. You don't understand. It's a misunderstanding, and I just really want to get it across. I've seen family members that there's just deep codependency where neither person is living in the fullness of everything that God has for them. Because one of the codependent people is loving with that familiar Storge love, trying to keep the person from having to, be bruised when they stumble and fall, and it's impossible to do. You can't, I've seen the Lord, literally someone lose their sanity because every attempt at discipline was thwarted by a mother that didn't get a hold of this for their kid. And then their child grew up and lost their mind because there's nothing you can do to restore that if that's gone. Like, the enemy was going to bring destruction. The open doors were there, and God would try to bring discipline, and the mother would step in and stop the discipline, step in and stop the discipline. Well, there are spiritual realities going on here. Okay. So you continue to keep your kid from getting the consequence in the natural, and somehow in the spiritual, if they are like making specific sinful choices, those realms are open over them and Satan can take their mind. So it's just a warning and an encouragement. It's an encouragement to love people with the love of God, not to take more responsibility for them than God has given you. He's giving you a responsibility to love like he does, and not it's ownership. That's the problem. We don't own people. We don't own relationships. We don't own, we are not to have this ownership mentality over our relationships. Even our spouses are for a lifetime. And I think that's why God made it like that. Because there is a sense that this is a temporary, this is a bond that is an earthly bond that is to last for our entire lifetime. But even this is on loan. Even your children are on loan. I mean, I cried 30 minutes straight when my son left, and I think I launched him out. I prepared him. I launched him out, and what a wonderful feeling it is to see him walking in his purpose. But after he was gone, my mind started going, hey, maybe he could come back and audition for the Washington Ballet, and I could build an apartment in my basement, and he could live in my basement. I'm like, hold on, mother love, just calm down a minute. You'll get to see him. And I feel like we're going to end up working together in ministry down the road anyway. But that's the way the mother love works. I want him here all the time, because I miss him when he's gone. But, that can actually get really, really dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? You got to let your kids go. And I mean, I know... for instance, my son was telling me a story, a girl who, beautiful ballet dancer, successful career, still had many years ahead of her, but her mom missed her, and I guess was really harping on her to come home. And she, I'm going home, my mom really needs me. Don't do that to your kids, and don't let your parents do that to you. I mean, there's a time and that you honor your parents, you want to take care of them when they're old, but don't put them before your spouse. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them and don't let them practice witchcraft on you by trying to control you either once you're grown. Okay, I just wanted to add some of that too, because I know, and these issues come up, and so whether you're the child, you have young children, or you've made the mistake and there's some dysfunction, if you are a parent and you see the dysfunction, you see there's too much dependency from a grown child, there is a way to seek the Lord and say, or there's too much dependency with one of your parents, or a friendship that's needs to shift. I mean, the hidden messages workshop in New York City, it was great. Some of the stuff coming out, and a girl talking about a friendship that needed to be broken, and she wasn't sure, and and then later on in the workshop she told me a dream, and I gave her the interpretation. It was like ding ding ding, she became sure exactly what she needed to do. These things can hold you down and hold you back. God is wanting us all to bloom and blossom, and can you imagine trying to grow flowers or trying to grow plants where they were planted in each other? It doesn't work like that. They got to be planted in the ground. You got to be rooted and grounded in Christ. Then you can bloom and grow. You can't, plug into each other and expect to get very far, because God does want us with certain people, spouses, children, parents, to allow people to feed off of our lives. We are to be broken bread and poured out wine. So you got to be wise about this. There is seasons, and there is times, and there is circumstances where you have to be broken and be the life support system for somebody for a season and for a time. But it's only by the Spirit's leading, and you've got to make sure that you are doing it for them and for the love of God, and not convincing yourself this is what God is asking me to do, because he might have you doing that for a season and then say it's time to pull back from that. As they start to get to the Lord a little bit more, he's gonna have you pull back from that. And a good counselor, a good shepherd, or any good wife or good husband will absolutely be working to get those people to the Lord. And if you've got that woundedness and you're not fully getting it from God, you can end up, it's just codependency. You like them needing you, you need them there, and so it's really ends up becoming a back and forth thing, and that's when it goes bad. Some of you need to pull back, take a minute with the Lord. It's just too close. Y'all are banging heads. You gotta just pull back and fill up. Get the strategy to deal with the situation. Make sure that, if you're feeding somebody spiritually, you're feeding them the life, that it's what God's having you do, and stop when he says stop and pull back when he says pull back, because it's his love that changes people. And he is, you've read the scriptures. Jesus would do something here and then he wouldn't do it the same way the next time. So we need to break the pattern of having our own understanding about what love is. And that's why you can't judge somebody else like I'm a bad dog parent or something. I'm a good dog parent. Okay, me and my husband and baby are going to go on a walk. I'm praying. Right, let me pray. Lord, I pray deliverance from codependency. I pray against spiritual vampires. I pray against us being like the Walking Dead, walking around with no life within us. Lord, give us your life. We have no life apart from you. Help us to stay grafted in the vine. Help us to receive your energy, your power, your life, your love, your light within us, to shine it forth, to pour it out, to let people feed on it as led by the Spirit, as what is best for both of us. And help us to be courageous and bold and willing to hurt and willing to let other people hurt if that's what your love requires. Help us, Jesus. Help us, Jesus. There are marriages that are falling apart because people don't get it. And it doesn't have to be both people. One of you guys get this. One of you guys get this. It can break a pattern, a very dysfunctional pattern, or, it can break the pattern. Somebody's got to do it. Yes, we would love it to be the other person, but you're the one hearing this message, so it's got to be you. It's got to be you, and it's not easy. It's not. That's why everybody doesn't do it. I mean, it's not easy to let go, but only if we are rooted and grounded in Christ and finding our stability and our nourishment in Him. So God, you are moving. You are sending angelic host. You are sending wisdom, understanding, insight. You are bringing health to relationships, healing to relationships. Don't freak out and think I've really messed this up. We are in a pickle now. There's like demons going back and forth between us, and like deliverance. Do some fasting and praying if it's got to the place where y'all are just passing your demons back and forth, in this like really dysfunctional place. Pull back, fast and pray, minister deliverance to yourself, and ask for wisdom and strength, and keep plugged in. God bless.
Jacqueline, I'm very happy for your support. We have the joy of happiness. I don't know what I can say, but it's really nice. Okay? So, my dear children, clap for Sister Jacqueline for his support. Sister Jacqueline, last time God's Foundation has donated money through World Remit, and you have bought these nets. So these nets, I'm going to serve them to divide them with the two children. It's really good. Okay? So we are sleeping on the ground. We don't have any bed. We don't have mattress, blankets. We need everything, please. So I'm really fast. So please, we request you for your prayers and your connection to other people's. It's because if you get more friends, I hope that our vision can be improved. So we really request you for all your support, because God is care of the home will still need more support. Another thing is that we are under God's control. So the Lord bless you. Amen.